More than 9 out of every 10 fleet vehicles use them, including millions of trucks in North America. The technology to make them is state-of-the-art. We're of course talking about retreaded tires. As a fleet manager, you already know they significantly reduce operating costs and they are good for the environment. But let's spend a few minutes with some public sector fleet managers from around California, and you can hear for yourself the benefits of retreaded tires.
The Orange County Fire Authority has been using retread tires for 15 years, and currently we're using around 350 tires a year. Before we started the program, we ran a few tests, and we were running a comparison with retreads versus new. The new tires, we would get somewhere around 10,000 miles. With the retreads, we are getting anywhere from 15 to 18,000 miles. So we saw some great savings and some better mileage, and with wonderful reports back of drivability and handling by using those tires.
City of Roseville has been using retreads on Class 3 vehicles all the way to Class 8 vehicles for the past 25 years. We use retreads on solid waste, transit vehicles, public work vehicles. Our experience here in Roseville has been that a retreaded tire actually outlasts a brand new tire.
In the Thomas Unified School District, we've been running retreaded tires for approximately 20 years or longer. We've had a great success rate. We consider them safe to haul students in and around the district and on field trips, whether it be to Oregon, whether it be to San Francisco, up to the mountains. We've had a great success rate with them.
The County of Santa Clara has been using retread tires since the mid-70s. That's more than 40 years that we've been using them on our medium and heavy-duty trucks and buses for both on and off-road. Our experience with retread tires shows an identical performance to a new tire. There's no reason not to use a retread tire. They cost significantly less. We're showing a great savings being able to reuse material and having it recapped by our vendor. We use a lot of different types of retread tires, predominantly more than 20 inches. We use a lot of 11R 22.5s on our trucks and buses, and on an annual basis we can use anywhere from 70 to 90 tires depending on the fleet demand. There are no problems that we can note with retread tires here in the county. It's a seamless transition whether it's a new tire or a retread tire. In fact, if you look at our tire inventory, it's difficult to tell what's a retread and what's a brand new tire.
At the Los Angeles Vehicle Maintenance Facility, we've been using retread tires for at least 20 years, and we buy 1,200 tires per year. We have a fleet in LA of 3,025 vehicles.
The cost of a retread tire is about half the cost of a new tire. The performance is the same. The failure rate is the same, and we're very satisfied with them. We use approximately 100 to 200 recap tires a year, some years more. We use them on all of our heavy equipment, from dump trucks to sweepers to water trucks.
We can typically recap one of these tires up to 4 times per tire in the application on the back wheels of a truck. And we can legally recap them twice to use for on the steer axle of the trucks. We use retread tires on our refuse trucks, our garbage trucks, our water trucks, tree trimming trucks, electrical utility trucks. In just about every application that's out there, we have been using retread tires, and it's been a great thing for us.
I think the city's been using retreaded tires almost since the dawn of time. I've been here 6 years, and we've used retreaded tires for that entire time. Plus, my boss, who's the fleet manager, had them for at least 10 years before I arrived, and then his boss before him was using retreaded tires. So it's been at least 20 years that I'm sure of. I've worked in 5 cities and a county in 3 states, and I've never once had a problem with a retreaded tire that was related to the tire itself. It's always been something about the operator hit something. They ran over something in the road or whatever. But the retreaded tires themselves, no problems at all.
It's Sonoma County policy to use recycled products whenever available. Retread tires fit right into that policy. We're very satisfied with their performance, and we feel that they're environmentally friendly.
We've been using retread tires for 20 years, and it's been very cost effective for us, and it's also helping us do our part for the environment. Retread versus regular tire, do the math. The retread's much more cost effective, and in the end run, we're not going through near as many tires, which is, again, good for the environment.
Something most people don't think about is how much you save from the environment by using retreaded tires. Right here in Chula Vista, we're a short hop, step, and a jump from the landfill, and that's someplace our tires aren't going because we reuse those casings 3 and 4 times. Keeps that casing out of the landfill. Plus, you're not using all that oil that goes into making up a new tire. So the environmental impact of having retreaded tires, especially on a decent-sized fleet, can be enormous.
The Orange County Fire Authority has always been trying to set the example to try to be environmentally correct. And we definitely know that using a retread tire in lieu of a new is helping save some of those resources.
Here in Roseville, we plan to continue to use retread tires. One of the reasons is it's a green thing to do. Basically, you're having a tire casing pulled out of the recycling. We're reusing it to cut down on tire usage.
At the moment, there are no regulations that mandate the use of retread tires for the Postal Service, but we use best management practices because we're in the movement for the Postal Service to go green and recycle. The best way to recycle tires is to use retread tires.
Fleet managers today in California, as part of the requirements of AB 32, must reduce their carbon footprint. Right now, everybody's focused on emissions. That's one part of the battle. What we also need to look at is the products that we consume within our operations. Retread tires more and more will offer us environmental benefits.
The performance of the retread tires compared to the new tires is, it's been my experience that it's been better than the new tires. And the cost savings from the retread tires is, the cost is about half of what a new tire would cost.
The savings for running retreaded tires, which can only be run on the rear of a bus, versus putting new ones on the rear, we'll run the new ones out on the steer end of the bus and then have them retreaded to go to the rear. We're taking a $300 tire, recycling it again with a retread, which indeed gives us a $300 tire again for $130 that's running at twice a 2-to-1 ratio.
Cost savings here in Roseville on retread tires. The brand new tires have cost us anywhere from $200 to $250, and we can usually have a retreaded tire at half of that cost.
Our budget couldn't live without retreads. The cost is at least 50% lower than a new tire of the same size, and we go through about 65 retreads a year. So if you double the cost of all those tires, our budget is in bad shape.
We carefully monitor the cost per mile of each vehicle. Tires contribute significantly to the bottom line operating costs. So although I'm not running a specific test, I can tell on a monthly basis how well we're doing.
In the past, this is a long time ago, when we first started using retread tires, there were some problems with the retread tires, but the improvement the last 20 years has been that we rarely see any problems with the retread tires. The problems that are blamed throughout the industry on the retread tires is mostly underinflation. I have seen many changes in the looks and use of the retread tires. The ones that come to mind are the different tread patterns that we use, and also the look of the tire. In the beginning, they were kind of crude. Now, it's very difficult to tell the difference between a new tire and a retread tire. We see different tread patterns that adapt better to the road, especially with the big tires for the big trucks.
The improvement in retreads is when they first started doing them, they were stamped. So there was no history on them, just the number of times it was done. Now they're all barcoded. They're in a computer system. City of Roseville uses only City of Roseville tires, casings. They are in the system, so we know how many times they've been retreaded, how many repairs have been done to them, so that we end up with a better product.
The Orange County Fire Authority has been using Retread tires for 15 years. In that time, it's amazing how far they've come with the aesthetics and the look of the tire. The way that it is bonded to the case, it is very, very difficult for us to even tell the difference between a new tire and a retread.
We've seen a tremendous improvement in both the quality of the tire and the amount of mileage that we get out of the tires. The quality has improved, the technology has improved. We've experimented with different manufacturers of the rubber compounds and different brands of tires and done our own in-house experiments to try to optimize our mileage and, of course, maintain our cost levels.
In the early 70s, the U.S. Postal Service went through a reorganization that required us to be self-sufficient. So we need to operate like any other business. So my advice to fleet managers in the private industry or in the Postal Service is to use retread tires. The best way to save money is to use retread tires. It's one of the items that we spend the most money in is on tires and fuel. And using retread tires saves money and saves fuel. So if you want to make money, use retread tires.
Our future plans for using retreads are to continue to use retreads, and I encourage all fleet managers that I come in contact with to use retread tires.
I would recommend using retread tires if you're not already doing so. Your fleet management program should depend on the ability to recycle as often as possible. Running a green fleet is a difficult proposition. How parts are packaged is hard to recycle. The least you can do is take care of the rubber that meets the road. The hardest thing about retread tires is actually getting your operators to hang on to the tire if there is a failure and they have a roadside repair. Aside from that, it's quite simple. The county intends to continue using retread tires well into the future. There's no reason for us not to. Seamless safety, performance, and reliability.
My comments to anyone else that is not using retread tires, to definitely put them in your fleet. Test them, try them out. It's going to save you money in your fleet.
In my opinion, any fleet, regardless of the size, I would strongly suggest you look hard at using retread tires. With any research, you can see that there's a huge cost savings, there's a great savings to the environment, and you're also saving time and labor with changing tires because you truly will see better mileage and save on tire changes as well.
Yeah, I recommend using retread tires. It's been a tremendous benefit for the city of Lompoc, and other agencies should be trying it as well.
I can't imagine a public sector fleet not using retreaded tires. It's just a common sense thing to do. And if there's a fleet manager out there somewhere that's not using them now, my question to him is, what are you waiting for?
The fleet managers you just heard know retreads are reliable and cost-effective. But what you may not know is that the technology used in retreaded tires has come a long way. In fact, it's highly sophisticated. The overall quality of retreaded tires has increased dramatically over the past several years because of new state-of-the-art equipment and processes. The end result, of course, is a dependable, reliable, safe, and affordable tire for your fleets. To learn more about retreading, visit the Tire Retread and Repair Information Bureau at www.retread.org or call our toll-free number 888-473-8732.